What right now do people not know about the Big 12 that they should know? Because I'll sit up here all day long and be like, Big 12 is freaking awesome. And I don't know if everyone believes it.
Right.
I think they just make their own opinion because it's their league. It's their league. If it's not, they're not good, right? Like everybody stinks but us mentality.
Exactly.
But what should people know about the Big 12 as a whole? We'll start with you, Behren.
Yeah, I just think the competitiveness. I mean, every single week you're playing a team that can beat you 100%. Doesn't matter what the record is.
Hello and welcome in. It's always college football. I'm your host, Greg McElroy, and we are thrilled to be here at Big 12 Media Days in Frisco, Texas. Really, over the next 48 hours, we will have time to visit with tons of coaches, tons of players. But here at Always College Football, we figured we'd want to highlight some personalities, some individual players that have lit the college football world up over the last couple of years. And in this league in particular, the quarterback play has been outstanding. I think you can make a very strong argument that the Big 12, top to bottom, might have the best collection of quarterbacks heading into 2025. So what do we want to do? We wanted to have some roundtables. We wanted to get 3 guys at a time, bring out some personality, talk some shop, ask some big picture questions, ask them what their dream matchup might be going on the road into a hostile environment. Who do they want to play? What are they running on 3rd and 7? What do they think of where we're at in college football right now, things they're working on and things that they're hoping that their team can achieve this year, and just what their perspective is. They live the Big 12 every day. What is it like? We live on the inside out, or on the outside in. What's it like living from the inside out? So we will visit with some of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. Over the next couple days, you're going to have some great access and get some great personality out of some of the great quarterbacks in this league. So we'll kick things off with Avery Johnson from Kansas State, who we can't wait to watch this year, Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati, and Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. All right, quarterback roundtable number 1. We figured we'd start it off in style. We have Avery Johnson from Kansas State. It'd be hard, by the way, not to figure out, are we pulling these out for didn't y'all have jerseys like this a couple years back?
I wish.
Really?
We do not, no.
I thought there was some.
No.
No? All right, we got Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati and Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. I know y'all are at the end of the day, so y'all are gassed. All right, so let's just light the world on fire and just talk noise to each other. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
That work?
Yes,
all right, who's got the best flow?
Best flow?
Gotta be me.
I mean, come on.
Is it close?
I used to have long
thought you
hair.
used to have flow.
I had some long hair
before you
too
cut it.
when we played K-State.
Yeah,
My
you
hair
had
was
flow.
long.
Really?
Yeah.
It was long,
Are there
but it's like this is like long.
this is
years.
another level?
Yeah.
How many years? When was the last time you got a haircut?
Well, I get trimmed every once in a while, probably a couple times a year, but I haven't had short hair since kindergarten.
Since kindergarten?
Yeah.
All right, I love it. Well, sounds good. All right, so you guys have been asked a lot of crazy questions today. All right, somebody asked you a little while ago, what's your call on 3rd and 7? I mean, I know it's very simple, but if you're playing NCAA football with Avery Johnson, what do you want to run?
We're probably just going to call a random pass play, drop back, and then run the ball.
Take off?
Yeah.
And just go? Just a little delayed draw?
Yeah.
Brandon, where are you going?
4 verts. That's usually my go-to in college football. 4 verts. Maybe check it down to the running back. Maybe run, like Avery said. I don't know. Depends on who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
If it's me, I don't know. I don't really know if my guy's good or not yet because we're here. So I don't know if I haven't
Is it released?
Yeah.
It's out today?
Yesterday.
I didn't realize that. Well, you guys must have got the check. That works. All right, what about you, Sam? What are we going with?
I don't know. Probably getting into some empty packages. Open it up, let my guy run around. And I really like to get into some mesh stuff, And in college football, you're going to go for it on 4th, so you just got to get to 4th and manageable.
Doing our punt? What's the punt team, right?
Yeah, everything's manageable.
I mean, punting is a sign of weakness in NCAA football, I feel like, right? You can't punt.
Yeah,
Who
never
plays
punt.
field position in NCAA football?
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody. All right, let's go through it a little bit. All right, let's start with Sam. You guys had a great year last year. It's awesome, man. So fun to watch y'all. Y'all are sitting there early in the game, get off to a bit of a slow start. They pour a couple on quickly. At that point, kind of what's going through your head on the sideline? No, all right, hey, we got to kind of jump out of this thing. We got to jump start this engine and get going.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't remember exactly what was happening, emotionally wise, but every single drive you kind of treat the exact same. Some things you take into account momentum wise, don't take a shot if you're not, rolling, try to make the smart play. Try to get your plays really going, get out the pocket, get a naked going, try to bust a run. But we were really had no run game early on in the game, so I kind of had to, take some control passing and make some plays with my feet. So at that point, it was, trying to just move the ball and take care of possession, get some momentum back on our side. And our defense made a couple good plays and put us in a position to go kick a field goal, and then kind of got rolling from there.
Do you realize how good that defense was that you just chopped up? They were stout, like crazy stout, stars all over the place, and y'all made mincemeat out of them. So it had to have kind of felt, even though it didn't end the way you wanted it to end, it had to kind of think to yourself into the offseason, all right, hang on a second, we just saw about as good as there is to see in college football, and we gave them all we want. So does that kind of carry over into this offseason?
Yeah, for sure. And if you go back and watch the tape, we had so many red zone possessions where we should have scored, a missed field goal, so many left points on the board. Just kind of put it in perspective, it's not that we can go play with these guys, it's, we should go play with these guys and win. And it kind of just instilled that in our guys and in myself to go play with the best and be the best. So that's kind of the perspective that I took, and the rest of the team's going to carry on.
Yeah, that's amazing. Brendan, you guys, I think I said this, had to have been on, it might have been today, it might have been 3 months ago. It all feels about the same. I think y'all had more unlucky bounces than just about anybody in college football. Y'all were this close, y'all probably 4 plays away, and you're a 9-win football team, and it kind of teaches you the margins in this league especially. What do you think you guys collectively, as a team at Cincinnati, learned from some of the kind of bad breaks that happened last year?
I think just weather the storm, stay consistent throughout the game, knowing that, like he said, really, you don't always have to make the big play. Sometimes you can just say, okay, maybe this isn't like a scenario where we have to have, you always want to have the third down, but maybe it's don't force it, make something happen that shouldn't happen, and you end up in a worse situation, and then you screw your defense or something like that. But I would say just staying consistent and disciplined throughout the games and see where you're at the end of the day. But, like you said, we were in a lot of close games that could have gone either way. Didn't go our way, but could have gone either way, and I think that's what we're preaching to our guys this offseason, that, we can be a good team and find ways to win those close games and look up at the end of the season and like where we are, but we gotta hone in on some small details.
It's crazy, man. It's this close, so many times last year. Hopefully those things can flip for y'all this year. And Avery, you guys are kicking things off in Dublin, Ireland. Have you ever been out of the country?
Yes.
You have? Where have you been?
I've been to the Bahamas when I was really young. I've been to Mexico. But that's about it.
What are you going to watch on the plane over there? Don't say tape. That's such a coach's thing to say. You're not watching tape on the way over there.
I'm going to count sheep. I'm going to get some sleep on the flight over there. Pop a few melatonin and catch some Z's.
You'll be good to go then. Thinking about kind of that game and knowing that you have a team that played in the Big 12 title game a year ago, getting them week 0 or week 1 for y'all. Is that kind of do y'all talk about that in the offseason? Hey boys, we about to be ready to roll week 1.
Yeah, I feel like you go into a year, and years prior we've played not even just a non-conference. We might play an FCS school or something like that, or a non-Power 5 school where you kind of get a warm-up, you get your feet underneath you, kind of get your feet wet a little bit. We don't really necessarily have that this year, and Iowa State beating us the past 2 years kind of left a bad taste in our mouth. So we feel like we owe those guys something. So we're going to go out, get firing early, and we're just excited. The whole environment down there should be pretty cool, but it's going to be business as usual.
It's going to be a trip. I think it would be a lot of fun for y'all to go over there and play in a game like that. All right, we're going to do a couple of rapid-fire questions, all right? Kind of talking about state of the league, Big 12 in general. I think the Big 12 is awesome, by the way. You've seen, obviously, the Big 10. You've been in the Big 12 from the get-go. But I think the Big 12, the top to bottom, especially quarterback, y'all are stacked. So it's got to be fun to knowing, all right, I know that guy across the field is going to bring it today, so I got to bring it myself. I know that's a pretty neat opponent. But I want to talk a little bit about the teams you're playing against. Best defense you've seen so far in the league?
BYU.
BYU? What made it tough?
Pass rush, their environment. It was so loud when we played at BYU. But I definitely would say that. They covered well, too.
Yeah, they can get out. They're physical.
Yeah. They are physical, but.
They are physical. All right, Brendan, where are you going?
I'd say K-State. Just really disciplined team. Did their job, played really physical against us. Came out, punched us in the mouth. 3 straight touchdowns for them, 3 straight stops for us. Not what you want. Really good ball club.
Yeah, what about you?
I'd probably say Utah. Really stout up front. They're going to be where they're supposed to be. They play man, they play cover 3, and it's the same disguise. They don't have man zone tells. so it's pretty tough. And then they bring their oddity pressures that are pretty hard to see. So really good DC, super smart players.
It's probably the most frustrating thing in the world when you have like motions built into your pre-snap, and the guy runs with them like, oh, I got man, right? Like we're good. Then all of a sudden, boom, they flip to like 2 deep. Like what's worse than that? It's the absolute worst thing in the world. So all right, worst scenario as a quarterback. We'll start with you this time, Sam. Worst case scenario as a quarterback, you have, let's just say, a standard run play called, and you're sitting up there, you walk up to the line of scrimmage, you got that standard run play called, next thing you know, they're all up in the box. What are you doing?
Am I under center?
Whatever you want.
Oh, well,
Come on, it's college football. No, you're not under center.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm in the gun, so they're all in the box. If I don't have an RPO tag, then I'm going to get to the pass and then check my pro. Whether that's a 7-man pro or 5-man release, whatever I want to get to. Kind of depends on the formation, but just understand, your offense as a whole.
Yeah. What about you, Brent?
Same thing as far as like if it is an RPO, I'm gonna give my guy a chance to go make a play for me. And then if they're bringing 7, we need 7 to protect 7. I'll bring a guy in, make sure I'm protected, check it to a pass play, whatever protection we need to be in, make a throw.
And what about you, Avery?
If I'm not doing something like that, we're seeing can our guy get up to the wheel, and we're checking speed option. Run the speed option, get it out. That's what we like versus.
Do you ever do the fake pitch and roll?
Yeah, show and go.
It's the best move on earth.
Yeah.
You don't have to run fast. That fake pitch gives a little action to the outside. They'll jump to the outside leverage for sure. All right, dream opponent. You can play anybody in college football. We'll say it's on the road.
Oh.
Who do you want to play and where?
I would probably go play at like Alabama. I saw something on social media where they got their lights flashing. A place like that, I would probably really just any powerhouse SEC school, Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee. That's the one thing I want to go to the college football playoff and go play an away game at an SEC school. I think it would be a crazy environment.
We want in the Little Apple though. We want that home field environment, don't you? I mean, going on the road would be sweet, no doubt about it.
I love playing at home, but going at an away game like at a place like that and coming out with a win, there's probably no better feeling than that.
Yeah. What about you?
I'd say Tennessee. Got to go to a couple games growing up. Really cool atmosphere. It would be a fun place to play for sure. Big stadium. Usually sold out. Yeah, checkerboard.
You get a little
end
orange
zone.
and white on your pants. It's a
yeah,
good
exactly.
feeling.
Yeah.
Not that I know what that's like, but I would imagine with the 9 rushing touchdowns you had last year, you'd have a better chance than I would. Actually, I did have a rushing touchdown. It was on a QB sneak tail, and I didn't get any paint, but it happens. All right, Sam, who are you playing?
Well, I grew up a Clemson fan, so I'd probably say, playing at Clemson would probably be my dream spot.
Yeah. Will you take it to him?
Oh,
Talk
yeah.
smack to Klubnik?
Oh, yeah. We're out there. Yeah, it's Avery. We're out there throwing routes on air, I just like to talk a little smack, so.
Wait, during routes on air?
Yeah, it's just friendly competition.
No, Manning passing.
Oh, at the Manning passing account. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just out there playing
Wait, so
around.
during the air it out competition that y'all would do there on Saturday night, you were talking smack during the competition?
Yeah, it's all friendly, we're just having fun.
What did he say? Can't say it. Can't repeat it.
No, he was just saying like he's gonna throw an incompletion right here. It was real lighthearted. It was funny. Like he was doing it to all of us.
Yeah.
But
how many balls hit the ground when he threw?
I don't think any. 0.
I'm not gonna lie.
You knew the answer to that too. Now he's trying to back off, and he was like this, and now hang on, there might have been a couple.
No, the first couple of days, you can attest, it was super hot, so the ball was so sweaty. But other than that,
it's Louisiana
in
July.
I know. Got to get used to it.
It's a beast for sure. All right, Brennan, with you, knowing that quarterback run is such a big part of your game, I was watching a bunch of tape leading up to this stuff. Dude, you break more tackles. Like, how the heck do you break so many dang tackles? How much you squat?
I was telling Avery earlier, I weigh 235. That's part of the reason.
You weigh 235?
I don't move like either of these guys.
Hang on a second. You weigh 235?
Yeah, I weigh 235. So like it's a little easier for me to break tackles. I have to break tackles. I don't move like either of these guys. So like, whenever I got a little like wiggle to me though too. You know what I'm saying?
A little sneaky wiggle?
Yeah, like some sneaky wiggle, and like people like underestimate me, so I can sometimes outrun. I remember like when we played Arizona State, I gave a little like show and go, like Avery was saying, scored a touchdown on it, but like I don't move like either of them, so I got to be able to break tackles. I probably also shouldn't break as many tackles as I just probably started sliding a little bit more than I do, but
You break some more tackles, though, in your scrimmages in the fall. Are they taking the black jersey off or the red jersey off?
No,
and you go
absolutely
live?
not. No. First time I get hit will be Nebraska this year. I ain't never getting hit in fall camp. Absolutely not.
Well, do you ever sit there, and I feel like we all do this, and depending on who your head coach is, and offensive head coach, defensive head coach, right? Kleiman's a defensive guy. Right. I knew that, but I just wanted to make sure. I was like, I think he is. Anyways, do you ever notice that when you're in a scrimmage, when you have a defensive head coach, every time a guy gets near you, it's a sack. But if you have an offensive head coach, every time a guy gets near you, the play gets extended, you might be able to make a big play.
Yeah. When I was young, it would be I would get the benefit of the doubt.
Really?
Now, no benefit of the doubt.
None.
No, it's a sack. Anytime they get anywhere close. And I'm a test, and I'm like, I don't get sacked that much. Like, I'm really going to get out of here. If this was a live game, I would have been out of here way before that, but you just got to let it ride.
What about you? Do you ever get the benefit of the doubt?
Oh, like every time. Like I'll be watching it back on film after practice, and I'm like,
You're wrapped up?
I would have got killed, actually. I would have got killed, but no, it's nice to see it go. But I know I've also dealt with that at Indiana too with Tom Allen, where like everything's blown dead early, and it's like, all right, are we going to practice today or like get to see anything play out? But no, it's definitely nice to let it play out.
Kind of ask all you guys kind of together, and I think you can answer collectively. Like, when people look at the league, there's a certain impression. Like, what do we on the outside that aren't living it, breathing it, playing it week to week, like what do we on the outside get wrong when talking about the Big 12?
I think the margin of error and like the difference between team to team is, it's pretty small, and people see a team who's won, like you look at Kansas' season last year and they lost 4 games that were within the last second. So it's pretty crazy to see, and we won 5 that were last second games. So from team to team, record doesn't show exactly what should have happened, but it's a really fun league and blessing to play in it.
Y'all have anything to add?
I would agree.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like the NFL. I mean, like, you got to win third down, red zone, or else you lose the game. Like, it's insane. It's not like that. No, I mean, we see all the teams, all the leagues. Like, this league to me is so much fun to watch. It's got to be fun to play in, I would imagine.
For sure.
Yeah. Nothing else to add? Y'all are good? I think y'all have said all you need to say this week. All right, man. Well, good luck this year, boys. We appreciate y'all and look forward to seeing y'all play.
Appreciate it.
All right, terrific conversation with those guys. Really enjoyed the visit, and I know you'll enjoy this next one as well. We got some seasoned veterans coming up in this next group. Behren Morton from Texas Tech will join us. We'll also have Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, who had a great year last year, and then Rocco Becht, a guy chasing a title for the Iowa State Cyclones. All right, quarterback roundtable number 2. Certainly not second best, just the way things are. You guys had so many obligations down there, but we had it kicked off really well a moment ago. We'll see if you guys can follow that lead. We have Behren Morton, Texas Tech, amazing job. When he's been out there, he's done an amazing job. Rocco Becht almost led the Cyclones to the Big 12 title last year. And then, of course, Sawyer Robertson, who came on strong at the end of the year. We had to start with this because this was like an age-old debate in the locker room when I was growing up. We got 2 Texas guys and a Florida guy. Where is the best high school football played?
Oh, man. Florida, right?
I don't know. It's the most.
I don't know.
Dude.
I'm outnumbered here.
You are, but you got to stand on your ground. You can't just take the L. You just have to take it, right?
I do.
Texas is way better, right? You agree?
100%.
It's not even
100%.
It's got to be Texas. Yeah, we were actually talking about this right before we came out here. Like, the whole town shuts down, whenever on Friday nights, and so everybody, the whole community gets to go there. I don't think it was like that. I don't know if it was like that in Florida.
Not my high school. No.
Yeah, okay.
Still good nonetheless, though, Florida. I mean, there are a lot of dudes coming out of there for sure, but that was like a nonstop debate, dude. And then Georgia got in the mix. Like, all right, they might have a pretty good argument to be made there, like per capita. All right, and then Louisiana was in the mix. All right, then it got real. And then we always argued about Kobe and LeBron. Those were pretty much our arguments. Pretty standard. That's the way it went. All right, so you guys, we kind of had some fun with the last group. We'll do some rapid fire in a minute, but I kind of want to just talk a moment kind of about last year and like what's coming this upcoming year and like what you're working on. So you had tough time last year, AC injury. You're now back to 100%, no more pitch count. You're ready to roll, and you got a great supporting cast around you. So how's the offseason kind of treating you so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. We brought in 35 new transfers, so just trying to get to know each one of them. We're bringing back some good skill, though. We're bringing back 3 guys that had over 700 yards each. So, really looking forward to a fun season. We got a lot of things cooking in Lubbock, and it's going to be a fun season.
Well, it's funny because with 35 new guys, I don't think you know all their names.
No, I do.
No, you just list them out right now.
Okay, I don't know. Now, if I had a list, I see faces. That's all I need.
All right, that's what we should have done. We should have done flashcards with all y'all's new teammates.
I could have got them.
And see if everybody could have gotten them at this point. Depending on the position, I would think your new offensive lineman.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Rocco, you guys had such a great year last year. We're this close to getting it done there in the Big 12 title game. Like, what do you think has kind of been the message from Coach this year? Say, all right, we're this close. Now we got to do it a little bit more to get over the hump.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that he's been able to preach is growing success. I think last year we talked a lot about sustaining success, and this year is growing. And I think using that momentum, that motivation that we had last year of not winning that Big 12 championship game, and then winning the Pop-Tarts Bowl, both of those can correlate to motivation and motivation. And so I think we'll be able to use that this upcoming season to propel us into a successful one.
The end of that Pop-Tarts Bowl game, what was going through your head there at the end? That was insane.
It was. We've had a couple games like that before that where it came down to a QB sneak.
Yeah.
And so we've been there before, and honestly, the QB sneak is undefeated for us. And so if we're on the 1 yard line, that's what we're calling.
So you're the college version of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, we don't do it exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly the same.
It works for us.
It works. That's the only thing that's absolutely 100% the same.
Yeah.
It works. So are you last year? Who's this guy week 4? It's like, this guy just lit it up. We got to start watching, paying attention. Next thing you know, you go on this ridiculous run. And it feels like now it's like everybody's talking about Sawyer Robertson. Like, this guy's going to take Baylor out. And you guys were a Hail Mary away last year from being in the championship picture.
Yeah.
So you really think about how close it was and kind of how much you've kind of improved from where you were a year ago. How much more confident are you and the whole team going into this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think we're way more confident, especially riding that momentum of those last 6 games from last year. It's just the unfortunate thing with that is, like, we started the season 2-4, and so we kind of dug ourselves into a hole, but we were able to get out of it because, when your back's against the wall, you're either going to lay down or you're going to fight back. And so we're a battle-tested group. We're returning a lot of those guys back from last year's team. And so we're looking to do the same thing this year that we did at the end of last year, just without the 2-4 start that we kind of dug ourselves into a hole there at the beginning.
I have always kind of been fascinated by Dave Aranda, like when he was at LSU or whatnot, and kind of getting to know him as a coordinator before he became the head coach at Baylor. And I always thought that he'd be like this mad scientist in practice and script for success on defense and just ruin the offense every day. Is that accurate?
I'll put it. There are some screens that we run that do not work. I'll put it that way. Where it's like, how did that guy know that we were going to do that?
Oh my gosh, we have this brand new screen and all of a sudden.
I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, drop 8 into a screen. It's the best. Love that. Yeah. Now, Matt Campbell to me is like a fascinating guy because he gives off this impression on the sideline of being like kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But also like really, really dialed in. Yeah. So like he can flip the switch immediately, and then all of a sudden within 2 seconds, he goes from screaming at the top of his lungs to like as calm, cool, and collected as it ever gets. Is it like that in practice too?
It is, and honestly in team meetings as well. Some of us think he's bipolar.
Some.
No, but I think it's good, and I think he wanted to work on that. He's been telling us last season, towards the end of the season, he's tried to stay cool, tried to stay calm, and he gave us credit to the players of us staying calm on the sidelines, which makes him do the same. So I do know he's been working on it, but he does have both sides of the realm.
That's amazing. And then with Joey McGuire, I don't know if I've ever been around a guy that's like as full of like happiness and like joyfulness. I'm like, dude, you coach football. Like, shouldn't you be miserable? And yet he's like the happiest guy ever. Is he like that all the time?
24/7.
No way.
It is. I promise. And we say we need to check his little pill bottle because there must be something in there every day that he takes. But no, it's every day. The intensity's up. He thrives on it. He told us today he has 8 cups of coffee a day, and it's like, dude, you don't need 8 cups of coffee a day, Coach McGuire. But no, he keeps the room motivated, and it's fun to play for him.
Yeah, well, I would imagine so. He's just a guy you kind of want to run through a wall for.
Oh yeah,
for all you guys have great coaches. There's so many great coaches, so many great quarterbacks in this league, and so many great defenses too. And we asked the last group, toughest defense. We'll start with you, Behren. The toughest defense you've played in the Big 12 so far.
Yeah, I honestly have to say is Iowa State. Running that 3-high stuff, with the middle safety coming down, playing the run fit, take away a lot of the RPOs. I think they're a really sound team. I think they do some good stuff. I think Baylor does some really good stuff too. I think everyone in the conference is a good team. It seems like every week you're playing a new defense. You're not just playing, a 4 down. You're going to see a 3 down. You'll see, everything from the Big 12. And so I think it's a really competitive league, and every week's really fun to play.
All right, where are you going, Rocco?
Honestly, I'm going Houston. I think last year there was a lot of times we played them and I didn't know what they were going to be in because they were rotating so much. They were moving around so much in the back end, and the linebackers moving up front. There was just a lot of plays where you weren't going to understand what they were in until post snap. When we played them, it was 20-7. We honestly did all of that on the ground. It wasn't really in the air, and so. Like he said, I think a lot of teams honestly are going to a 3-3-5. I know a lot of teams in the Big 12 are doing that now, teams could struggle against because I hate going up against it in practice every day. It makes 7-on-7 hard. It makes my life hard, but it does, prepare us for these other teams that are starting to do it.
So you guys are giving each other flowers right there. He says Iowa State. You say new defensive coordinator Sheil Wood.
That's our new defense.
Yeah, so that makes sense. All right, are you going to break the mold, or are you just going to say, Texas Tech and Iowa
I'm going to
State?
say, to be honest, Iowa State gave us fits last year. We kind of jumped on them early though, scored our first 2 possessions, and then credit to them, they adjusted really well, and we had a tough time going into the rest of that game just because of how they adjusted. They gave us fits all night long, and then Houston was also really difficult for us. But I think Houston had a really physical defensive line that made it tough on us to kind of get the run game going, and then from there the pass rush kind of got to me a couple times, but we were able to come out there with the win. And then I think the other team that gave us a hard time was Colorado, and that goes with the physicality point again, like DBs. And their front 7 were very physical, and so that was a tough game for us as well.
Yeah, they had one guy at corner that could go.
He turned out pretty good. He turned out pretty good.
That guy's got a chance. I don't know where he's at now. But he's got a chance for sure. All right, we asked this question to the last group. I know it's situational, so you don't be like, well, if they're in 2-man, if they're in 2, if they're in 3, we'll do this, we'll do that. On 3rd and 7, and you can call any play in your playbook. Let's just say you're at the plus 35, so you might have 4 down territory. What's going through your head? What do you want?
I got to go with wide cross, 95. It's a basic air raid concept. You got to cross backside with the post curl backside, and then you just got a little MRR, mandatory outside release by the X, 5-yard out. Kind of beats every coverage. But that'd be my go-to.
It'd be amazing to be able to stay in the pocket long enough to get to that post curl.
Oh, I know. It's always open.
Yeah, it's
but
always
can you get
open.
there? Yeah.
And they're always like, see? Why didn't you throw it?
why-
I'm like, well, because it took 7 seconds for him to scan the field. Rocco, where are you going?
So it's a play called Win. We got a 10-yard out route by number 2. It's a 3-by-1 set. And inside we have a choice route with either 10-yard out against man and then a hairpin route against zone. I think going against man and zone, it kind of gives me best of both worlds. And whether a post snap, I see what it is, and I can go, hit either 2 or 3 in the backside. We have a 15-yard in with a hold down by the running back. So cover 2 really to come back to that. But that's kind of my go-to play, and it's pretty simple as well.
It's funny because I think about that, and I just remember the days where my 2 slot receivers would forget which position they were playing. So the outside guy would run the option route.
Yeah.
He'd hook. The inside guy would think he can cruise out, and they run right into each other. That ever happen?
It has not happened. Fortunately, it has not.
in.
Hopefully, it doesn't.
Yeah, that might get psycho, Matt Campbell, if
Yeah.
that happened.
No,
All right,
you
where are
wouldn't
you
be happy.
going?
I'm going to kind of do something similar to what Behren said. I'd like to have a man zone indicator, so motion maybe the tight end in to a 11 personnel set where he's attached, and then go a version of wide cross where it's a MOR speed out, but you already know man zone indicator with the motion, and then give the tight end also a choice to if it's man, break it off and keep going. If it's zone, find the window shop a little bit, sit, and then a post curl option from the outside. If they give a quarters look, take the post. If not, curl it to the curl that never gets enough time to get seen.
I love how he goes it's 11 personnel. It's Spavital. You think it's anything other than that? Remind me what the personnel will have if you don't mind. That'd be great. All right, we also asked the guys this a second ago, you can play any opponent in their home stadium. So you are on the road. It doesn't matter anywhere in college football, not necessarily in the Big 12. Who do you want to play?
Man, that's a good question.
I know the easy answer for you and the school that you play for.
I would like to play Texas A&M.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right.
I would like to play Texas A&M for sure.
So in Aggieland.
In Aggieland for sure. Yeah,
All right.
I would love to play there. In Kyle Field, that place gets rowdy. I've been to a couple games there, but I would love to go on the road and beat them. That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty sweet. Rocco, where are you going?
Man, I would say Iowa, Kinnick Stadium. It's a pretty cool place to play, but we've played there a couple times. But I think I'd go. I think Clemson would be pretty cool. Death Valley. either there or LSU. You know, those two stadiums that get rowdy, they're electric. Fan bases are great, and they have great traditions, and I think it would be pretty cool to play those two spots.
Now, Sawyer, you've seen some of the SEC spots. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to do something a little different. I feel like as a college football guy, a Penn State wideout has got to be one that's on the bucket list. You know, that atmosphere's got to be something that's, you know, seems otherworldly.
Just not in November.
Yeah, probably not.
Let's play that game in September, and then you got my attention for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Is there like a guy right now in college football that you enjoy watching? Like, it doesn't matter the position necessarily. I think naturally we're all going to gravitate towards quarterbacks, but we'll start with you on this one, Sawyer. Is there a guy that you've kind of enjoyed watching, consuming, learning from?
To be honest, the first guy that kind of sticks out is Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. I know he's not a quarterback, but you know he's kind of the guy going into every single game, and it seems like defenses still have just the hardest time game planning for him and figuring out a way to stop him. Obviously, a lot of that goes into the offensive coordinator for Ohio State and finding ways to get him the ball. But it's really cool to see a guy who the other defense is game planning for. Hey, this is the guy. If we lose to them, we're not going to lose because of this guy, and he still finds a way to impact the game. And so I think that's really awesome, and that's kind of something that, you know, hopefully like we can turn into.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance too. All right, Rocco, what about you?
Honestly, I was going to say the same thing. I think, like he said, to be a young freshman and to go out there and produce the same football that he was able to do is something that unexpected and that you don't see a lot of times. And the way that he was able to get open, like you said, when teams are already preparing for him, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I'd have to say the NC State quarterback. I played as a true freshman last year. He was my roommate at the Manning Passing Academy. And, you know, being a true freshman playing at NC State, you know, it's probably tough. But, you know, he took the bull by its horns, and he did a great job. And, you know, I really like watching him play. The dude can roll.
Yeah.
The dude can fly.
We called his first game against Clemson, and it was like such a difficult spot. It's like your first game's on the road at Clemson. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, true freshman. There you go, 17.
Yeah, sounds good. We got number 3 over here. We got number 17 over here. And, like, I'm running for my life. It's a tough spot to be in for sure. All right, we got just a couple more for you guys, kind of looking at the big picture. And I asked the guys this a second ago, like, what right now do people not know about the Big 12 that they should know? Because I'll sit up here all day long and be like, Big 12 is freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if everyone believes it. Right. I think they just make their own opinion because if it's their league, it's their league. If it's not, they're not good, right? Like everybody stinks but us mentality.
Exactly.
But what should people know about the Big 12 as a whole? We'll start with you, Behren.
Yeah, I just think the competitiveness. I mean, every single week you're playing a team that can beat you 100%. Doesn't matter what the record is. And I think the atmosphere's at every place. You know, Iowa State last year, we were getting to play them on the road, like week 8, and, you know, that place was jumping. They're undefeated, and then Baylor, the same thing. I mean, everywhere you go, there's going to be a sold-out crowd. And I think that's high praises to the Big 12, and I think it's really cool. It's a really cool, fun conference to play in.
I'm going to agree with him, and also as well, a lot of teams in the Big 12 right now have great quarterbacks, and so it really produces great football. The offenses, the scoreboards are going to be high, and I think, like you said, I think every single team in the Big 12 has an opportunity to win the Big 12 title, and not a lot of conferences can say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of what they said. I think last year is the best indicator of that, as far as, like, I know they're not doing the projections this year, like the first to last or whatever, but I know last year the team that was picked at the top finished at the bottom, and the team that was picked at the bottom finished at the top. And so that's the best indicator for what really the Big 12 is, and what, like Behren was saying, like any given week you better be ready to roll, or the team that's lined up across from you has a chance to beat you.
Yeah, it's a great league, it's an exciting league, a large part due to what you guys do at the quarterback spot. It's a deep league and it's fun to watch, man. Appreciate y'all's time today. Best of luck this season. We can't wait to watch it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That'll do it for us here at Always College Football. We continue to encourage all of you to like, to rate, to subscribe to the show. Wherever you get the show, whether it's on the podcast platform, whatever podcast platform you use, you just subscribe. It'll automatically populate into your inbox. And you can also check us out on the ESPN College Football YouTube page. So for all of us here at ACF, for Mark, Jake, Jack, the other Jack, I'm Greg. We hope you have an amazing day. And remember, it's always college football. Hey guys, it's Greg McElroy. Thanks for watching Always College Football. Make sure you like, rate, and subscribe to ESPN's YouTube channel and wherever you listen to your podcasts.